And good evening and welcome to DJ and TV Live Monday night. I'm Jason Jones, filling in for John Young as he recovers from eye surgery again tonight. The show is starting a lot earlier than it did last week, so we're actually getting better at this. The curve, it's improving. So you might not miss John as badly as you missed him last week when I filled in on the show. I'm Jason Jones. It's really exciting to be here for an evening of great chat. We have a fantastic slate of topics coming up tonight with a really great group of guests. Coming up immediately, you can see on the screen, I have Kristen Cole. We're going to be talking about marketing for a half an hour. And then in the next half hour, we'll have Michelle Lee on, aka also known as DJ Shelley. And she's going to talk about dollar marketing, making your dollars go further with your marketing. And then we're going to have an hour with Nick Arias. We're going to talk about lighting and lighting shows and systems and a bit about production. That's going to be really exciting. And then a real light, fun time with the DJ and TV team, MJ and Dan and myself, and we're going to be talking about Craigslist DJ listings, which is going to be a lot of fun and probably pretty funny. So let's get on and get started with tonight's guest. First guest here, I'm really excited about talking with Kristen Cole. She's the owner of Soundwave Events in Boise, Idaho, and her passion for unforgettable customer experiences, relationship marketing, and online branding have been the driving factor behind the success of her company. As you can tell by the fabulous boardroom she's sitting in right now, that is not one she rented, that is hers. She has been very successful. She's committed to helping small businesses succeed and find passion in their work. Kristen, it's so exciting to have you on DJ and TV tonight.
Yeah, thank you. So happy to be here.
It's so funny because the first time that we met was at Mobile Beat in a very awkward encounter. As it turns out, Kristen looks an awful lot like Miranda McCoy from Australia, and I sat down at a table and I stood up and I was like, "Hi," and I was all excited and enthusiastic. I think I gave you a big hug, right? And you were so great about it. You were just like, "Oh, hi." You were like, "This is weird. This guy's just smiling and hugging me and everything like that." And then realized in just a couple of moments that we had a mistaken identity.
It's not the first time it's happened,
yeah.
but I take it as a compliment.
Yeah,
Miranda's amazing.
Yes, she is amazing. So was that you really rolled with that really well. Was that slightly awkward for you?
Not really. I mean, it was after you left, I was like, wow, I think he knows me. I don't know how.
Right? He sure is friendly. We must have met sometime. Oh, anyway.
Of course, I knew who you were because you've always emceed at the Mobile Beat show. So I was just surprised you knew who I was too.
Right. Well, that's how I greet everybody. Excited and with a big hug. Like, hey. Well, hey, it's super fun to be taking our discussion to DJ and TV tonight and talking about marketing and what's in your DJ toolbox. And so let's start a little bit. We were kind of talking about this before and talking about how much things have changed, and and how quickly that the habits and even interests and tastes and that of not younger brides, they're the same age, right? We're the ones that get older. How that's changing. So what's with like the brides now? You know, you're 26 to 30-year-olds.
I think things do constantly change in the world, but like you said, as we grow older, sometimes we stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so, brides these days, I think they really do want a personable DJ, an incredible experience, something that a gift almost that they can give their friends and family on their wedding day, just
Mm-hmm.
giving them memories and moments, I think is what brides are really looking for. And maybe that hasn't changed. But I think how brides are finding their wedding vendors is what has changed over the years.
Okay. So tell me more about that.
Earlier, Jason, you and I were talking about traditional marketing. Is traditional marketing dead? And It's an interesting conversation because I think with traditional marketing, we might be talking about print media. Maybe we're talking about wedding shows. There could be a lot of, ads, phone book, whatever it might be. And I think a lot of that has shifted as we're dealing with a more millennial age group. So I think, as probably most of the DJs watching this show know, brides are finding their vendors online, and they're finding their vendors through recommendations from their friends who have gotten married
Mm-hmm.
and through their vendors that they're booking for their wedding. So I think there definitely has been a shift in the last 10 years.
Sure. And so does just having a clean, informative website cut it now?
I think that's a good place to start, but no, I don't think it does. As I talk about client experience, which is something that I'm really passionate about in my business, and I coach with my DJs and my staff a lot on how we create awesome experiences with a bride, and we talk a lot about creating that experience from the moment she contacts us. But really, that experience starts so much sooner than when she might contact us. So if we're creating an experience for brides early on through our branding and marketing, that is making an impact from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so, does that start with a website? Probably, but I think it extends a lot further to your social media profiles, through your relationships with other vendors, what people are saying about you, and your DJs, your staff, or if it's, if you're a single op, your performance,
Mm-hmm.
and all through, your, if you're at a wedding show, how you're interacting with people. It's an experience you're creating.
One of the things that you've talked about a lot that has made a really big difference in your business that hasn't the technology hasn't changed is relationship marketing. It's something that you're really excited about. So how have you
Yeah.
leveraged creating relationships to increase your overall business consistently?
Yeah, it is my number one. Relationships are so important, especially in our changing marketing climate. It is so crucial to have those people that not will, they just won't refer you, but they care about you. They know your company, they know
Mm-hmm.
what kind of expectation to have when your company is at an event. And it starts early on. I've said this before in articles I've written, but it starts with being genuine. I think you have to be really genuine in your relationships, especially with brides and that millennial demographic. They see right through the nonsense, straight to what the motive is. And I know that, when I'm being solicited on the phone or through
Mm-hmm.
an email, I can see right through it. And I'm sure all of us can.
So, what
So,
would be an example of like, if someone was like, "Oh, well, then I want to be genuine, I want to be authentic." So, do I just speak real casually? Is that how that's done? How does one achieve that or know that they're being authentic?
I think it starts with your motive, right? If you want to have a relationship simply so they'll refer you, I don't think that's going to work. At some point, someone's going to call you out on that. They might
Mm-hmm.
not call you out verbally, but they'll call you out when they stop referring you. So I think it starts in your heart. It starts with, I know these people will refer me if I am, friends with them, but really caring about people is so important.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about, having a wedding planner friend that you check in on, take donuts to, whatever it might be, but it's being aware of them and what's happening in their lives and their businesses, and remembering those things, and, touching base with them in a way that matters with no strings attached.
Yeah, right. Just like it's just a gesture that you care. So,
Right.
do you manage a lot of relationships or have a lot of relationships you keep track of?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, they're just like any market. There's a lot of wedding planners, a lot of photographers, a lot of event venues and other vendors that we work with. And we have a, it's just important to us. These are also our coworkers, if you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we own our own business, our coworkers are those people we're working with at different events. And so, us being friends with them and having good relationships, it matters. And it makes our experience better too.
Absolutely. So, what are some ways, since you're super busy with everything else that goes with the business, with booking and fulfilling on events and marketing and doing the latest
Right.
copy and the next email blast and all that kind of stuff, and
Right.
then keeping up these relationships in a meaningful way is something else to do. So, do you have a system that, or anything like that, or are you able to just kind of remember, because they're like a group of friends, like how do you keep track of it all?
The vendors that I'm closest to, they are a group of friends for me at this point. I don't necessarily go out for drinks or whatever with them because, right, we are busy, we are running a business, and we have young children like so many of us. But I think it starts at the event. So when you're at the event, are you checking in with the vendors? Are you getting to know them while you're setting up? If the wedding decorator is setting up tables and chairs, are you chatting and asking how their day is? Or are you focused in so much on what you're doing that everything else is kind of invisible? So it starts there. That's the beginning. People will refer people they like to work with, right? So if
Yeah.
you're making their life easier and better at an event, that's where it starts. After events, we follow up with vendors, especially vendors we've never worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And we just send a quick email or, maybe we'll put a little note on their Facebook or something saying, hey, it was great to work with you this past weekend. I saw the preview of the photos and they were amazing. And it just takes a minute, right? Just takes a minute to send a little hello email. And it makes a difference. A lot of people aren't doing that. So instantly you have connections, right? And then it just grows from there. You see them at a wedding show and you catch up. And then you see them at a networking event and you catch up. And then you work with them again and things build.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. We're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, DJ Event Planner and Electro Voice. And when we come back, I'd love it if you tell us a little bit more about some ways that you make life easier for those other vendors. Some creative things other than just like, hey, are you okay? Hey, are
Right.
you okay?
Right.
Like, I'm fine. Why do you keep asking me? But like some ways, things that you look for to actually make their life easier so that they're like, hey, I like this. So we'll
Yeah.
explore that when we come back. I'm
Okay.
talking to Kristen Cole, and we're talking about marketing on DJ and TV Live Monday night. Be back in a moment.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Great.
And we're back with my guest Kristen Cole. I tell you, I don't know what that was on the break, but this is Jason's on-the-job training on DJ and TV Live Monday night with a fantastic guest, Kristen Cole, and we're talking about marketing. And we've been spending a lot of time with good old-fashioned relationship marketing. And one of the things that we left off with was, what are some of the things you do to actually make life easier for vendors? Like, as a DJ, what can we think about when we're at an event?
Great question. So the number one thing that we do that's different than most DJs is when we are not working with a wedding planner, but just, a photographer and a caterer and a venue, we always send a copy of our timeline to all the vendors the week of the event, because there's no one at this point that's bringing the vendors together to make sure everyone's on the same page and avoiding pitfalls at the event before the event happens.
Mm-hmm.
And we get so much feedback about this. The vendors love it.
Wow, just that simple gesture.
Yep. Because no one else has really done a detailed timeline with a bride if there's not a day of coordinator or wedding planner. We are doing that typically.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can send that to a photographer and she can write back and say, perfect, sounds great, I'll be doing sunset photos at 8:00, then that's going to avoid confusion the day of the event or frustration. So that's the number one thing. at the event.
I imagine that that's something that, because a lot of times you'll make a plan with the bride, and then the bride will make plans with everybody else
Right.
without necessarily thinking that she should come back and consult you, which you're
Right.
working on the master plan. So she doesn't just surprise you with like, oh yeah, right, no, we can't do toast now because I talked to the photographer and we're going to go for a walk for half an hour. Which you're like,
Exactly.
whoa, if I'd known this, I could have adjusted things, for the
Yeah.
guests.
It can really throw a DJ's groove off if there's, unexpected changes. If you're getting ready to hit play on the father-daughter dance and then suddenly the bride is nowhere to be found, right? That
Yeah.
is stressful. So it helps everybody to do that. And we've had good feedback. At the event, we're always watching and we're always listening. And that's what I train my DJs to do. Yes, set up your gear. Yes, make it look good. Be professional. But if you hear someone saying, oh, has anyone seen my tape? I just really need some tape.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we run over with some tape. Oh, I've got some. Do you need some? Here you go. Right? Little things, but it's being aware.
Right, and what you're describing to me is like being on the same team.
Right.
Not like, hey, I'm good, I got my stuff ready.
Exactly.
Or if the kitchen is running late, if they're having a problem, instead of going like, well, if the kitchen wasn't, if they weren't such idiots, we could be eating by now. Instead going, we're on the same team. We want to make everybody look good no matter what's going on, and work together. And I really hear that in that philosophy.
Yeah, it's really effective. And then, it's just paying attention, right? Just thinking outside of our, what's right here in front of us. If it was a tough wedding and the wedding planner was stressed out, and at the end of the night, she could feel that was stressful, then yeah, you might send her a little $10 coffee gift card in the mail and say, hey, you did a great job. It was great to work with you. Those things go a long way. I think if you're going to spend $600 or $700 on a wedding show and, however much money marketing on other platforms or in print media, some of that money could be really well spent nurturing your vendors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. That's really great. So what are there any new, we were talking earlier about kind of shifting to more of the online marketing,
Yeah.
and new, trying to even keep up with that, with where brides are looking and how they're looking and what their expectations are. So what are some things that in the last few years that you've discovered that is like, oh gosh, this is that we need a presence on this site or in this area, or or over another, or in addition to even?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, certainly there is no shortage of places to spend money and to market your business. And in my market, I know it's different in different parts of the country and the world, of course, but in my market, Wedding Wire is very popular and I do pay for advertising there. Some of the other paid wedding directory sites I don't pay for because they don't work in my market. But having real conversations with these companies and having them send you statistics of how many people are, looking at DJ profiles in my city is really important. Some of the things online wise that I think have been important is, brides are still on Facebook. Yes, there is a move to Snapchat. Brides are hanging out there. I know that a lot of businesses are using it, and I'm not saying it isn't good to do that. I just haven't had a return on that personally. Okay. So we do more efforts on Instagram with really high quality imagery that we usually get from photographers from our weddings. And again, relationship marketing, right? So when I work with a photographer and I say, hey, I'd love to spotlight you on my blog. Do you have any photos from the wedding? And then I, talk about them and praise them on my blog, post their images on Instagram and link to them. It's relationships, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find that kind of stuff is really great? Do you find that when you consistently do that they tend to reciprocate?
Yeah, they do. Like we get shout outs a lot on social media from other vendors that we've worked with. So yeah, definitely. It goes both ways. There are though, when it comes to online, I think it's really important to automate as much as you can because it can take a lot of time. And if you don't have staff to do that, you're running a multi-op just trying to do the best you can, or you're a single op, being all things to all people. It's tough to find the time to do everything. So there are a lot of automation programs out there that can help. We, for example, with our email newsletters, we program all of our newsletters for the whole year. So we have 12 months of newsletters ready, scheduled, ready to go, and then we just add people to the list.
Wow.
And We do that through MailChimp, which is a free service. Yes, it has about the same bounce rate as many of the other services, but I don't have to think about it. I know those names are getting added to the list and the emails are going to go out twice a month, and it's going to happen. Yeah, it took someone a day or two to program all of those, but the beauty of our business is that we are on repeat, right? Every year we're doing the same thing. So I don't really have to change those newsletters a lot year by year. Once they were written, they're pretty much good to go. Though we do evaluate them annually.
Sure, right, because well, things have gotten dated in the past, but things get dated at a remarkable speed now.
Yeah,
it's not just hairstyles, the whole world could be different.
Right.
So, what is it that what kind of content? I can imagine someone listening thinking like, "Oh, great idea! I want to do a newsletter. What do I put in there? Just the
question.
top 10 songs? Is it all music and DJ focused? What kind of things do you want to do? You not to say specifically what you put in yours, and that's for you and your business specifically, but in general, what do I want to look for?
I try to mix things up a lot and recommend that. I don't want everything to be sales focused, and I try not to do that. So I will have recommendations like great songs for your father-daughter dance, great songs for, a special activity. One of my newsletters is special things you can do to make your reception fun. Activities that I think work well and are classy, but still fun. We'll also, share in the newsletter. I'm trying to think. I will highlight services that we offer and softly sell. So I'll talk about why event lighting is important, because a lot of brides don't really know much about what lighting can do for their wedding. So we try to share a lot of pictures and ideas. And then at the bottom of all my emails, I say, if you're still looking for a DJ, please give us a call. We'd love to work with you, take care of you.
That's fantastic. We're getting close to the end of our time. I can't believe it. We're going so fast. It's
right,
and there's so much left to talk about. I mean, come on, right?
Right.
So what I'm wondering now is I'm sure that you see a variety of pitfalls where you just shake your head like, oh gosh, no, why are you doing that, right? and sometimes it's not because the DJ's dumb, they're just clueless. And clueless means they're just not aware. They have no awareness. So what would be a couple of things that you or practices that you've seen that are like, don't do that anymore? I'm putting you on, everyone know I'm putting you on the spot on this one. I didn't give you a prep on this question.
Good. They're right here. My top two things that I just shake my head at are number one, outdated or unfunctional websites. In today's market, there are a lot of website programs that can help you build a beautiful website without extensive knowledge. For example, Squarespace and Weebly. A lot of people use WordPress. I know it's the industry standard, but it's difficult to use and to learn. So pick something that you can use well if you're building your own website to make it look good.
Yeah.
The second is what you're posting on Facebook. Personally, and on your business page, because it does reflect your brand. And I think a lot of things are posted that might apply to other DJs, but it's always important to remember your demographic. What does my bride want to see on my Facebook page? She wants to see great wedding ideas. She wants to see high quality imagery. She wants to learn about your staff. She wants to see what other people are saying about you. She doesn't care about your equipment or about your latest and greatest, or keep it really classy and really high quality. It's what the brides want.
Or how bored you are, or how lame this event is, or any opinions about where I've seen that before too. Like, why are you posting this? Right? Yeah. This is like everything's that. What are you going to be saying about my event, kind of thing?
Exactly.
So yeah, absolutely. And I want to the website thing. I want to give a shout out for Elegant Themes and Divi. They've developed the first amazing "what you see is what you get" WYSIWYG WordPress website builder. It's super amazing. I've been working with it on mine for 6 months now, and I'm not a web guy, so I'm just like, I love this.
Yeah, find something that's easy to use if you're building your own, because your website is very important. We just launched our brand new website 2 weeks ago, and it was intensive, but it's worth the time to put into it.
It is. Oh, I just want to keep this conversation going. Thank you so much, Kristen. This has been just a blast. Can we have you back again?
Absolutely love it.
All right, good deal. Well, take care, and we'll see you again.
Thank you. Thanks, Jason. Good night.
Good night. Kristen Cole, right here on DJ and TV. Sit tight, because coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to keep talking the marketing talk going with Michelle Lee, a.k.a. DJ Shelley, talking about dollar marketing. Marketing your dollars, or making your dollars go further in your marketing.